Alright, hello everybody, we're officially live on the channel. I just need to update a few things real quick. Alright, there we go. So we are officially live on the channel, as we do have a very dangerous severe weather threat. This is going to be a quick 20-minute briefing or so on the significant severe weather threat that we do have for a lot of the U.S. And the first thing I do want to talk about is the significant moderate risk. I gotta make this a little smaller, but a significant moderate risk of severe weather that is in effect, and this is going to be triggered by a dangerous tornado threat with a 15 sig tornado risk across portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and northern Iowa. And this is a really rare severe weather threat, guys. We have an enhanced risk of severe weather down towards portions of Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, into Iowa, Missouri, Kansas areas under the enhanced risk of severe weather, with the main threat being in that moderate risk of severe weather that you do see in that red area, which is a 4 out of 5. So if I can kind of circle that, 4 out of 5 risk of severe weather that is in effect, and then the enhanced risk is the 3 out of 5 in the orange. And if we look at the probabilities of this, the hail threat is a significant enhanced risk, meaning we do have the potential for 2 inches or greater in diameter hail in that black hatched area. And then the biggest hail threat is going to be in the red area, but it's also possible in the yellow and brown areas. Now the tornado threat, if we get to that real quick, the black hatched area means significant severe weather. So it's a SIG threat in that black hatched area, meaning we do have the potential for strong tornadoes. And that's what that circled area is. Strong tornadoes, EF2 plus possible in that black hatched region across portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, into Iowa, even in northern Illinois. This is a really rare severe weather threat that we do not see normally, especially even during this time of year. This type of stuff this far north mostly happens a little bit later into spring and even into early summer. But we have that 15 sig area for tornadoes in that yellow 10 sig area. So anywhere in the brown, yellow, and red needs to be weather aware. But the highest tornado threat is going to be in the yellow and especially the red areas. And this is really dependent on if we get storms or supercells to form. Will really depend on how significant this will be and if it will produce tornadoes. Now, if we go to the wind threat, there's no significant risk of wind here, meaning we will see wind maybe up to 70 miles an hour at most, but mostly 50 to 60, maybe 70 miles an hour winds. With this, but anywhere in the yellow and the red needs to be the most weather aware, especially in this red area from Minnesota all the way up to Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan areas that are under this threat in that enhanced risk, in that wind probability. So that's the enhanced risk of wind across the Twin Cities into northern Wisconsin. I think Green Bay is even included in that wind risk, but that's just what we are going to be talking about. And then if we go to the day 3, this kind of shifts a little bit further to the south on day 3. We're mostly going to be talking today about Monday's severe weather threat. But if we do talk about Tuesdays, we have a huge slight risk of severe weather ranging all the way from Texas all the way up even into New York. So it's going to be a huge risk of severe weather. And then an enhanced risk of severe weather is in effect for portions of New York into Pennsylvania and portions of Ohio that are under this enhanced risk of severe weather on Tuesday, and then a significant risk of severe weather in that little hatched area in Texas, where I do think maybe hail or wind could be the main threat for that. But anywhere in this yellow and red areas needs to be weather aware, ranging from Buffalo, New York, into Pittsburgh, I think is even in this, Cleveland, Ohio, Columbus, Louisville, Evansville. St. Louis is kind of on the border of that. Oklahoma City, even in the Little Rock areas that day. Now, let's kind of try to get a look at the model runs here. We're going to kind of try to go more in depth on this here. But if you kind of look at the 18Z HRR, and this would be an outlier. Well, this isn't really an outlier. This is just one of these scenarios. No storms form. We do get storms, and we do get some linear storms on the northern portion of this threat. But this model shows that we don't get much supercells developing Monday afternoon into Monday evening. We have like one supercell there in portions of Minnesota. But besides that, this whole area is clear of storms, and that would mean we wouldn't see a significant tornado or strong tornado. But if that does happen, then it's going to be dangerous, as the SIG tornado parameters are maxed out in Minnesota, Iowa, into Wisconsin. It's going to be really, really dangerous out there. I mean, we've got some really, really significant tornado parameters for this area right here with our dangerous tornado threat that we do have. And if we get any supercells forming in this region right here, it will produce strong, dangerous, maybe even violent tornadoes that I am concerned about. Look at the instability. We've got plenty of it up that far north, and the supercell composite is really, really high in those areas too. And this is why I'm so concerned about this weather threat. It just really all depends on if we get storms to form. If we do, then it's going to be really dangerous. If we don't, then that's great. Now, if we look at the RFFSA, that also shows no storms forming. So that would be another scenario. Let's look at the FV3 real quick. This is not a very reliable model run, but this one does show a few supercells developing across portions of northern Iowa into southern Minnesota, and that would cause a dangerous severe weather threat. So it really just is dependent on how, if we get supercells to form in portions of Iowa, Minnesota, and would cause a really dangerous threat for Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, especially there near the Twin Cities in the area I just circled. It's a dry line, you know. We've got dry air pushing in from Nebraska, Kansas into Iowa, and that's why it does confuse me. I do think there's a potential for storms to form. It really just depends if that cap breaks, and if that cap is too strong, then no storms will form. But if it's a little weaker, then we will see storms form, and it'll be dangerous storms. So that's what we are really watching across portions of that area, to see if we get those storms to form that day here. Now let's look at the NAM 3 kilometer real quick. 1 second, guys. Alright, so if we do look at the NAM 3 kilometer model run real quick in this briefing here, let's take a look at the NAM 3 kilometer model run. So this run does show a few supercells forming across portions of southern Minnesota into northern Iowa and Wisconsin. This would cause dangerous severe weather. We would have dangerous tornadoes, and the NAM 3 kilometer actually struggles to convect even supercells sometimes. So it's kind of funny to me that the NAM 3 kilometers convecting storms with the HRRR is actually not. But I do think that area just circled has the most dangerous severe weather threat in terms of tornadoes that I'm most concerned about in that area. Then further north, it's going to be a little not as significant, but that area is where I'm most concerned about for tornadoes potentially. I'd say more like in this region right here, where is my concerning area for tornadoes. If we get any supercells to form in that region right there. But the significant tornado parameters are absolutely maxed out. The environment is going to be very volatile. It's going to be dangerous and has a dangerous tornado threat. It really just depends on if that cap can break and if it can produce a tornado with that. Now, if we do look at that severe weather threat, let's kind of look at that for Tuesday. Now, we do not have the HRRR in range for Tuesday yet, but we do have the NAM 3 kilometers, so we'll look at that real quick. It does have some strong storms across portions of Texas, maybe even hailers, which is why we do have that significant severe weather threat right there, and then more storms with hail and wind potential across portions of southern Missouri into southern Oklahoma areas. That we could have a significant severe weather, not really significant, but a severe weather threat. Now, if we look at the slight risk of severe weather it does show a little bit of a line of storms forming across portions of New York, Ohio, and portions of Pennsylvania uh, during the evening hours at around 9 p.m. And that would cause, looks like to me the hail threat would be a little less with this enhanced risk. And I do think this is more of a wind-driven threat for this area, with maybe an embedded tornado or two possible. But anywhere in this area, the tornado threat's not too significant on Tuesday. It's more like the potential for a few tornadoes possible that day. Now, I do think we do have a, yeah, I'm pretty sure we do. Let's kind of look at the extended day 4. There we go. So on day 4, we do have. I gotta try to put this a little bit further to the south real quick. See if I can find the right area that I can get this into your guys' view real quick. Sorry about that. And none of these work well. Okay, that one right there, South Central. Okay. So if we do look at this day 4 probabilistic outlook, this is for Wednesday. We do have a slight risk of severe weather. I do think maybe portions of this area could see severe weather, but the main area with slight risk of severe weather is for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's a pretty small slight risk for day 4, but this is our risk area and our area of concern for day 4 across the Dallas and Fort Worth metro areas in Texas on Wednesday. Now, if we kind of get a look at the models, I'm not sure if any of them are in range for this yet. Yeah, the NAM 3 kilometers. So none of our main high-resolution models are in range yet, but we do have the NAM 12 cam, so I can kind of get a look at this. But yeah, I do see why they're showing that's a significant weather threat on Wednesday. I do think potentially this area could all see severe weather, maybe even portions of Missouri into Illinois. It's possible. But we do have that severe weather threat, the main one for this area, with plenty of instability. We've got up to 3,000 convective available potential energy, which basically is our ingredients to have storms form here and strengthen and become severe. Across the Dallas and Fort Worth area, that is pretty primed with 2,500 convective available potential energy, known as CAPE. Which could cause significant severe weather. Not really significant, but definitely a severe weather threat here. I do think yeah, and there's a lot of moisture with that too, up to 70 dew points. So I do think we could have a wind and hail threat there. The tornado threats, I'm not really sure yet because we do not have the main model runs in yet. Yeah, it's actually possible. We could have an isolated tornado threat. The low level jet is definitely there, but we'll look at more of the parameters once we get a little bit closer to this. But we could have an isolated tornado threat and then mainly a hail and damaging wind threat, I would say, for portions of Dallas and Fort Worth areas. That day. Now, if we do look at the temperatures around the U.S., this does not really have to do with the severe weather very much, but we're going to have some really warm weather on Monday. It's going to be pretty hot on Monday, definitely. Yeah, very warm on Monday across a lot of the U.S., especially the central U.S. It's going to be really warm, while it's going to be a little cooler across the western U.S. But if we kind of look at the anomalies, yeah, very above average temperatures in the central U.S. and then a little bit below average temperatures in the eastern portions of the western portions of the U.S. And that's going to continue a little bit with those more above average temperatures in the central and eastern U.S. And then it may shift next week into the weekend, where the GFS shows more cooler weather in the central and eastern U.S. and more warmer weather in the western U.S. So that's just one of the anomalies I'm looking at right there. But yeah, After this severe wave of severe weather we are going to have, it doesn't look like it's going to be too significant after that, which is definitely a good sign. So yeah, tomorrow's threat's really dependent on if we can get supercells to form, but if we do, it's going to be really, really dangerous, and it's going to produce long track, dangerous, violent, even violent tornadoes in southern Minnesota into northern Iowa, in portions of Wisconsin. So that's what we are really concerned about there. So violent tornadoes, dangerous, strong to violent tornadoes possible if we do get any supercells to form. If we don't, the threat's over. It really just depends on if we get these storms to develop and form. It's going to be a dry line, so I do think storms are possible. It really just depends on how strong that cap is and if it can break. But no matter what, the ingredients are there and are volatile to produce dangerous tornadoes and significant severe weather. I mean, look at our significant tornado parameter. It is absolutely maxed out there across portions of northern Iowa into portions of southern Minnesota and Wisconsin. So Twin Cities start to be weather aware now. Des Moines also need to be weather aware, as this is definitely not looking good for this area if we get these storms to form. Hope you guys did enjoy this little quick briefing I did have. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more briefings and videos, because I post videos every few days or so. So check that out too, because it keeps you weather aware by being subscribed to my channel and liking. Hope you guys enjoyed this